I gripped the steering wheel tightly as I drove down the desolate, winding road, the darkness of the night closing in around me. The wind howled through the trees, creating eerie shadows that seemed to dance and twist with every gust. My heart raced with a mixture of anticipation and fear, and I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. My headlights cut through the thick fog that had settled over the road, casting an eerie glow on the wet pavement ahead. The trees seemed to lean in closer, their branches scraping against the side of my car as if trying to grab hold of me. The only sound was the rhythmic thump of my own heartbeat, growing louder and faster with each passing mile. A sense of unease gnawed at the pit of my stomach as I realized I had taken a wrong turn. The road ahead was unfamiliar, and I had no choice but to continue driving, hoping to find a way back to the main road. My hands trembled as I adjusted the radio, hoping for some distraction from the overwhelming silence that surrounded me. Static filled the car, punctuated by occasional bursts of distorted voices. I strained my ears, trying to make out the words, but all I could hear were fragments of sentences that made no sense. A cold sweat broke out on my forehead as I felt an icy chill crawl up my spine. As I rounded a bend, my headlights illuminated a dilapidated old house nestled deep within the woods. Its windows were shattered, and the paint was peeling off in long, curling strips. The sight sent shivers down my spine, and a voice in the back of my mind screamed at me to keep driving. But something compelled me to stop and investigate. I pulled the car to a halt in front of the house, the engine's idle hum the only sound breaking the silence. My heart pounded in my chest as I stepped out into the cold night air. The front door creaked open with a haunting moan, revealing an impenetrable darkness within. With a deep breath, I summoned the courage to step inside. The air was thick and musty, and a faint scent of decay hung in the air. My flashlight cast a feeble beam of light that flickered and danced along the walls, revealing glimpses of faded wallpaper and dusty furniture. As I ventured further into the house, the sense of dread intensified. Whispers seemed to echo through the halls, and I could have sworn I heard footsteps behind me. I turned quickly, my flashlight beam revealing nothing but empty space. My heart raced as I continued to explore, my mind playing tricks on me with every creak and groan of the old house. A sudden crash from the upper floor jolted me, causing me to jump and drop my flashlight. I fumbled to pick it up, the beam of light now quivering as I directed it toward the source of the noise. My heart pounded in my chest as I climbed the creaking stairs, each step echoing through the house like a drumbeat. At the top of the stairs, I found myself in a narrow hallway, the walls lined with faded portraits that seemed to watch my every move. I could hear a faint, rhythmic tapping coming from one of the rooms, growing louder with each step I took. I pushed open the door to the room, my flashlight revealing a scene that sent a wave of nausea through me. The walls were smeared with what looked like dried blood, and in the center of the room stood a figure dressed in tattered clothes, its back turned to me. It continued to tap rhythmically on the floor with a long, bony finger. My voice caught in my throat as I called out, "Who are you? What do you want?" The figure slowly turned its head, revealing hollow, sunken eyes that seemed to pierce through me. A guttural, inhuman growl rumbled from its throat as it took a step toward me. I stumbled back, my heart racing as I fumbled for the door. The figure advanced, its steps slow and deliberate, each one accompanied by the sickening sound of its tapping finger. I managed to escape the room, slamming the door shut behind me and bolting down the hallway. I sprinted down the stairs, my breath coming in ragged gasps as I burst through the front door and into the night. My car sat where I had left it, its headlights casting an eerie glow on the old house. Without looking back, I jumped into the driver's seat and slammed my foot on the gas pedal. As I sped away, the image of the figure with its hollow eyes and tapping finger haunted my thoughts. The echoes of its growl seemed to linger in the air, and I couldn't shake the feeling that it was still watching me, waiting for its next chance to strike. I drove for what felt like hours, the darkness of the night giving way to the first faint hints of dawn. Exhausted and shaken, I finally reached the main road and breathed a sigh of relief. But even as I left the desolate, winding road behind me, I couldn't escape the lingering sense of dread that had taken root in my mind. To this day, I can't explain what I encountered in that old house or the horrors that seemed to lurk in the shadows. But one thing is certain. I will never forget that night. The night when I drove into the heart of darkness and came face to face with a terror beyond imagination.